For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Mornin Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you
Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning. It's April 30th.
on a Tuesday. I had to think about that for a moment because we had a holiday, a nice long weekend, certainly here in Barbados, as we celebrated National Heroes Day on Sunday and celebrated the bank holiday on Monday yesterday. I hope you had a great weekend, got lots of rest if that's what you wanted to do. I know there were a lot of events happening. So maybe you got out and had a little fun as well. That's A-OK. Hey, I'm Tishia Hines. If you haven't met me before, it's good to meet you. It's good to be in your homes, wherever you are here in Barbados or around the world. Thanks for joining us online or on TV8 or 108 or Flow or Digicel or wherever you're watching. It's wonderful that you've tuned in to Morning Barbados. And we're going to make sure you have a great time. It's going to be a little educational, a little fun, and everything in between. So Conversations on CARICOM is where we usually start on Tuesday mornings. Today's no different. We'll be chatting with Ambassador David Comichong today all about what's been happening over the last week as relates to his travels across the region and beyond. Plus, Cicely Clark-Richmond, she's Director of Parados, and she'll be in to talk to us about the parenting series that is coming up. It was heavily subscribed last time around and very well reviewed. So we certainly look forward to her telling us more about how we can be a part of that. We're going to be talking about something that we haven't heard a whole lot about in the recent past. Period poverty is what it's called, and menstrual leave. And Katrina Aline, who is sharing information on women's health and reproductive health, endometriosis, and she's a part of the Women's Health Association. She'll be in to talk to us a little bit more about that. I know it's certainly more than meets the eye, so it's wonderful that we will be having this conversation here in Barbados. I know our Jamaican counterparts are well into having conversations about this. We have a great personality interview to share with you today, an author by the name of Chanel Williams. She's a teacher, and she will be joining us from the U.S. to talk a little bit about herself and her latest works. She's a special needs teacher, and we are going to delve into all that she does and celebrate her work a little bit. Plus, tomorrow is May Day, so bank holiday yesterday, bank holiday tomorrow. How about that? Just a break for work, so to speak, today. So we'll tell you about the BWU May Day celebrations coming up tomorrow, and it is all going off under the theme, It's About You Too. And the National Cultural Foundation will be teaming up with them to present to Barbados at the National Botanical Gardens all they've been doing in the community by way of theater and dance and everything in between. And those people, over 200 people registered for that program. Over 100 of them will be on show at the May Day celebrations. But most importantly, we want to talk to you about what the Barbados Workers Union will be doing for us, the workers. That's all coming up on today's presentation of Morning Barbados. Plus, QFM is celebrating 20 years in existence. It's 20 years that QFM has been around, and we are celebrating in a big way this week here at CBC as Q comes home. So you can look out for Nicole Collins from our marketing department. She'll be in to talk some more about logistics and what will happen to kick celebrations off for QFM. Hey, we're going to take a break here, but when we come back, the ambassador is going to join me on the couch and we'll start those conversations. So time to go grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you're having. Come back and have a seat, all right? Stay with me.
Morning, morning, morning.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Good morning to you indeed. Now joined on set by Ambassador Commission. Good morning. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Tisha. It's a pleasure to be here.
Certainly hope you had a great weekend.
A busy, a working one.
Always a working weekend, but that's okay. All right, so today we want to take a look at what's happening. We saw reported in the last few days that the Presidential Transitional Council is now in place. The former president has officially stepped back. The new president has been installed, so it certainly feels like things are moving.
No, the former prime minister has resigned.
Okay.
One of his ministers, his finance minister, is now acting prime minister, but that is only until the new Presidential Transitional Council that was installed last week, Thursday. That is only until they select a new prime minister, then that acting prime minister will go.
Okay.
And because the Presidential Transitional Council has assumed all of the powers of the presidency of Haiti, and one of those powers under their system, the president selects the prime minister. So this new Presidential Transitional Council, not only will they select a new prime minister, acting prime minister, but also a council of ministers, a national electoral council to start making preparations for elections next year, and very importantly, a national security council to deal with the tremendous security crisis that the country is in. So things are happening.
For people who don't know as yet, talk to us about the Presidential Council and how they will function and how they're made up.
Well, it's a 9-member council, and these 9 members represent various sectors of the Haitian society and various organizations or coalitions of organizations. So it's something very historic, and a tremendous tribute to CARICOM, because this has been CARICOM's contribution to bring all of these contending organizations and sectors together and to say to them, look, your country is in serious existential crisis. Make the compromises to establish national unity administration. So that is what this Presidential Transitional Council represents, a national unity administration. I'll just go through so there are 9 members, 7 of them are voting members, 2 are non-voting members. So I'll just go through it very quickly, give you an idea of the quality of the persons involved. The voting members are former Central Bank Governor Fritz Alphonse Jean, former Ambassador to the Dominican Republic, Smith Augustine, Barrister Emmanuel Vertelaire, former Senate President Edgar LeBlanc, ex-Senator Louis Gerald Gilles, businessman Laurent Saint-Cyr, and Leslie Voltaire, a former diplomat. The non-voting members are evangelical pastor Fresnel Joseph and Regine Abraham, who once worked for the World Bank and the country's environment ministry. So the organizations and sectors have chose really very experienced and accomplished persons. And it is our hope that they would have sufficiently put aside their sectoral interests and will now work in the national interests. But of course, they're going to need a lot of help because Haiti is in a very serious situation. The people are really suffering, and there are going to be multiple demands on this new national unity government to deliver.
Well, the thing about it, for many people across the region, they have to depend on what's being shared through press from other parts of the world on what's happening. And what was heavily focused on, based on what I saw over the weekend, the international press reported that there was much fighting and so on outside of the installation of the new presidential council. Can you report on any of that? Because the international press were seemingly saying that those people on the ground weren't in agreement.
Well, the people on the ground not in agreement are the gangs. So you have these criminal gangs who some of which in recent times have come together in a coalition. And I think a number of these gang leaders are beginning to sense that the writing is on the wall. They've had their way for a few years now because of the lack of any real authority, any real state in Haiti, and they've taken advantage of that. So some of them have been trying to make a play to get themselves involved in this political transition process. But the patriotic Haitian organizations have said, no, we do not intend to legitimize any criminal gangs because that will lead to long-term disaster for our country. So a number of the gangs are trying to derail this process, this new political process, to save Haiti. And it has been reported that they have taken control of much of Port-au-Prince, the capital city. And for some weeks now, they've been trying to capture the National Palace, which is actually where the Presidential Council was installed. The National Palace is symbolically very important in Haiti. It's like seen as the seat, the towering symbol of state power. So the gangs have been trying to capture it. They have not been able to capture it because, of course, it has been defended by the Haitian National Police. And so the gangs that want to derail this process were threatening violence if this presidential council is installed, and they did attempt some violence, but they were not able to prevail. So I was in Geneva last week where I had a chance to actually meet with a number of Haitian activists, some of whom live in Port-au-Prince and had actually made the journey from Port-au-Prince to Geneva to participate in the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. And what was explained to me is that this figure that the international media keeps repeating, that the gangs control 80% of Port-au-Prince, what was said to me is that that is not totally accurate, that the gangs try to give that impression. So the gangs have certain core areas in the city of Port-au-Prince, and what was said to me is that often they go out from these core areas, do some destructive work, go into a community, burn down some houses, whatever, but they can't control that territory. They then have to retreat back to their core areas. So the figure of 80%, that they control 80% of Port-au-Prince, is somewhat misleading, but I don't want to minimize their presence and their destructiveness. So yes, I mean, they are the biggest threat to everything that is being attempted now to put Haiti back on a proper path. And the biggest challenge for this new National Unity Administration will be how to get control over those gangs. Because if those gangs have their way, this whole process will be sidelined, and the gangs, will take control of Haiti, and that's a nightmare scenario that no right-thinking person should want to see.
All right, it's 22 minutes after 6 o'clock. We're going to take a break and come back with more discussion with the ambassador. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. If only you could hear the conversations that happen behind the scenes. One of these days, Ambassador, we will be able to share with the audience. You said write about it?
Write a book about it.
All right, but it's most certainly good to have you with us. And of course, we're talking about the new transitional council, presidential transitional council in Haiti and all that's happening. As far as what's going on with CARICOM, I know initially we had those eminent persons who went in as a part of the planning of all of this of sorts. So what's happening within CARICOM, the leadership of CARICOM, even as all of this is happening?
Well, CARICOM has to stay the course, you know. We need I think we need to make clear to the international community that it's not a situation of Haiti here and CARICOM over there, because a lot of the international news stories don't make the connection between that Haiti is a member of CARICOM. So when they talk, we are not foreigners to Haiti. We are all Caribbean brothers and sisters. Haiti is a very important CARICOM member state because Haiti represents 11 million of the 18 million population of CARICOM. And historically, I mean, that Haitian revolution, that that tremendous war that the black people of Haiti fought over 13 years to destroy slavery is at the very core of our Caribbean civilization. So Haiti is very, very important to us. And if we can only get Haiti right, Haiti will be the key to the future development of the Caribbean community, because if we can deploy that Haitian people resource, those 11 million people, to really help us to develop, Belize and Guyana and Suriname and the islands, that's the key. That's the future key to the development of our region. So CARICOM has to stay the course with its member state. In fact, this whole process, it was CARICOM that said, look, the only solution to the crisis in Haiti has to start with a political solution. That is, bringing together the society in a national unity administration. If you don't do that, then nothing else can happen. So that's the core of it. And we invested in that group of eminent persons who went into Haiti, who brought everybody to the table, and that is why we are where we are today. So the group of eminent persons is not going to go away. Its job is not finished. It has to keep engaged with the process. In fact, there are some of us who think that that process, we may even need to institutionalize that process so that we have a CARICOM entity that continues to focus on Haiti going forward. So, so over the last 2 months or so, CARICOM has been very, very engaged, the group of eminent persons, but also the prime ministers. And I want to give tremendous credit to the prime ministers because they spent many, many days, nights, hours meeting with the Haitian stakeholders, talking them through this whole thing, encouraging them to make the agreements that were required to bring us to where we are. So we are talking about people like President Mohamed Irfan Ali, who was chair of CARICOM during this period, Prime Minister Motley, Prime Minister Gonzalez, Prime Minister Holness of Jamaica, and his Foreign Minister, Camino Johnson-Smith, and several others, Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister Mitchell of Grenada, and so forth. And kudos to Prime Minister Davis of the Bahamas. Kudos to those leaders because they really spent a lot of their time and energy just working with the Haitian stakeholders and bringing us to where we are now. As I indicated, now that this presidential council has been installed, there are going to be so many demands on it because whether you're talking education, health, food, agriculture, security, the humanitarian crisis, everything needs being addressed and simultaneously. And so CARICOM is going to have to be there for them. We're going to have to try to help them as much as possible. We ourselves are going to have to see, we as CARICOM nations, what we can give, but also how we can be a voice for Haiti with the international community, making sure that everybody understands that this thing is very fragile and it needs all the help and support that it can possibly get. So that's the role we are going to have to play. This is supposed to be virtually a 2-year process because this is a transitional administration. The purpose of this administration is really to get the security situation under control, get the humanitarian crisis under control, and then over the next year and a half, put up an electoral process in place, proper registering of voters, proper electoral system, so that late next year, Haiti can have a free and fair and democratic election where the people of Haiti can elect who they truly wish to govern their country. And that will lead to the installation of a new president on the 7th of February 2026. So we already have the date. If all goes according to plan, hopefully, Tisha, we will be in Port-au-Prince on the 7th of February 2026 on that glorious day when a democratically elected, popularly supported government is installed in Haiti, and then Haiti will be on its way. It will, take its rightful place within our community.
It certainly would be a joyous day to be able to see that happen in Haiti. It's wonderful also to hear that our CARICOM leaders have pledged the level of support that they have. Do we know of any staunch support or provisions that have been put in place to be able to help in all of these myriad areas that we are talking about, from security to building out infrastructure, etc.? I know the international community will have to help as well. But what are we as CARICOM countries going to do by way of actual provisions to help our sister nation?
Well, a number of the UN agencies already have initiatives going. So some are actually already doing work on the ground in Haiti. The big problem has been the security crisis, because these gangs have attacked the airport, they've attacked the fuel terminal, they have attacked government agencies. These gangs have really done and continue to do a lot of damage. So that is really the very big, the first major hurdle to get over. How does this new government get better control of that situation so that many of the other things can happen? So for example, Guyana has long said that they want to give, massive food aid to Haiti, but how do they get it in there in a situation of such instability where the airport is shut down because the gangs are attacking the airport, for example? So to get control of the security situation is going to be key. The main project for that is this multinational security support mission that is being prepared to go into Haiti. So this is where the previous Haitian administration had made an application, a request to the United Nations Security Council for a resolution approving some kind of multinational intervention in Haiti. And so that approval was given. Kenya stepped forward, and Kenya is preparing 1,000 of its police officers to go in to help the Haitian police to have better control over the security situation. Several CARICOM countries, as you know, have pledged some of their personnel as well, whether police or military. Jamaica, Bahamas, Belize. Barbados has made a pledge as well, but those three, Jamaica, Bahamas, Belize, they have actually already assembled personnel who went through training in Jamaica over the past month or so. So now that the Presidential Council is installed, it will be up to them, because everybody has insisted that there must be a Haitian-led solution to this crisis, and the Presidential Council is a big part of that Haitian solution. So it will be up to them to give the green light as to the multinational security support mission coming in. They may also have their own ideas. Their new National Security Council will also have their own ideas about a security solution. But suffice to say that we're going to have to give support to the Haitian National Police, whether it is helping them with equipment, whether it's helping them with training. CARICOM has already committed to helping them train their police officers and so forth. And once that multinational security intervention is given the green light, we have to be able to support it as much as we can. So these plans are all being made, and but still, there's still a lot of uncertainty, and we now have to be guided by the new Presidential Transition Council. They're supposed to elect the leader of that council today. So there's been a lot of jockeying as to who will be the personality that will emerge as the leader of the Presidential Council, and that should be accomplished today. So once that is done today, then they should move swiftly to select the Prime Minister, the ministers, and the other officials, and then they would have a fully constituted administration that can make all of the relevant decisions. But we just have to be ready and prepared to respond to their call and to be able to give as much support that we possibly can.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for coming in and sharing with us about what's happening in Haiti.
It's my pleasure. Just want to keep us on top of this, because properly understood, this is probably the biggest story in CARICOM. Haiti has had this very, very difficult 200-year period. Haiti has had 200 years of a very, very difficult history. And if by our efforts we can help the Haitian people, our Haitian brothers and sisters, you know, to get out of this continuous crisis and to really get the society stable and democratically ordered and proper governance structures in place, this would have been the greatest gift that we would have given to our own Caribbean integration movement. So I just want all of our people to have an understanding of how big a story this is, and a lot, whether it is an ultimate success or failure, a lot will depend on the extent to which we, the governments and people of CARICOM, keep faith with the process and don't give up on our Haitian brothers and sisters.
And that will be dependent on the information that we share with our people via our media as well. Because as I said, usually what we see from other quarters of the world don't tell the tale that we get from our very own people. So I think it's important that we are able to get some media or media reports or reports from persons like yourself out of Haiti, so that Caribbean people can get a rounded picture or a truer picture of what's happening.
That's absolutely correct. You know, we can't have other people interpreting our reality for us. I mean, I've seen too many disconnected commentators making all kinds of ridiculous comments about what is going on in Haiti, the efforts being made, and that's because they're disconnected. We, on the other hand, these are our brothers and sisters. We are invested in them. So yes, our people need to hear our own perspective.
All right, time for a break here on Morning Barbados, but stay with us. When we come back, Cicely Clark Richmond will be in. We're talking parenting. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 18 minutes to 7 o'clock, and of course the debate is raging on. A day in the middle of two holidays? No, you couldn't have had it home. People are still arguing about it. We're back out to work and school today. And look, we're back to work tomorrow. Right, Cicely?
Tomorrow. Yes, please.
That's right. It's so good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Cicely Clark Richmond. And I can't even tell you that you're happy to be back at CBC, maybe back in TV. You were program manager here at TV at
Yes,
CBC
please.
for a very long time. And now you've moved on to Parados.
Yes, please.
And you're the director over at Parados. So, you know, it's wonderful that you're able to continue to share in that way. But we still see you because you guys do a radio program as well, a weekly
Pause for
radio
Parenting.
show.
Yes.
Before we delve into exactly what we're talking about, tell me a little bit about how those parenting classes go, parenting generally, because that's what you're there for, really parents' education. So talk to me about the work Barbados is doing and how it's translating based on what you've seen to better parenting across the island.
Well, from the testimonies that we receive whenever we have the classes, parents are, how should I say, they're very happy that they were able to take the time out to take the class. Because, you know, as a parent, you want to believe that you're doing a good job. And Barbados was established to help parents because we recognize it's a very difficult job. And no matter how good you are, you can always do better. And that is basically what we want to get parents to understand, that you can always improve. And where you need to start also is always with yourself. You know, as a parent, where are you, what are you doing, how what you're doing is affecting your children, affecting yourself as well, because it's not just about you, you know, it's about your children, about your family, how they're interacting with you, how you're interacting with them. We do classes as often as we can. Obviously, there's some funding that we need to do those classes. We do classes at our headquarters. And we also go out into the community because we recognize that not everybody can come down to, you know, Perry Gap on a regular basis to have a class. So our objective is to go and do whatever we can to get parents to come to recognize that they can have help. In whatever situation they're facing, there is always help.
And that's starting again this Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, the 4th of May. You're getting out into the community. I'm told the last classes were heavily subscribed.
Yes.
I know we've received many calls about them.
Yes.
And now you're heading out again to share.
You know, and this opportunity we are very thankful for is part of a program that government is actually rolling out. I can't tell you too much about it. It is actually going to be launched next Saturday. But it gives us an opportunity to go out into the community, go to the parents where they're at, and share the knowledge of how you can become a better parent. And we're very excited about this opportunity. We've actually divided the country into 4 zones, and we're starting with Zone A and Zone B. Zone A will be covering St. Lucie, St. Andrew, and St. Peter. And Zone B will be covering St. Joseph, St. John, and St. George. Now, our classes would normally run for 11 weeks, but we recognize that obviously not everybody would have 11 weeks, you know, especially during the week to be able to come to classes. So we decided we will have it on a shorter period. We'll narrow it down to 4 weeks. So we're going to have 2 weeks in May and 2 weeks in June. So parents can come out. You can plan, obviously, if you can, you know, take the time off or whatever, you know, you need to do to get there. And during those Saturdays, you're going to have 3 classes. And obviously we'll have lunch as well. And you'll have an opportunity to meet with other parents, have an opportunity to hear from experts. We have some very good facilitators who've been with Barbados for a long time. But they keep very, you know, up to date with what is going on. We cover everything from co-parenting to conflict resolution to all in the family, recognizing that your family, how you were brought up, obviously has an impact on how you're going to parent your child. And you need to recognize the positives and the negatives, because all of us, you know, came up in some sort of a family, whether it was dysfunctional or, you know, pretty well. All of those things impact how we parent. And we need to be able to examine them, examine ourselves, see where we're at, you know, things that we need to work on, things we need to drop off, things we need to change, because we recognize that in today's society, it is not like how, you know, my mother and your mother would have raised us at the time. Things have changed. And children today now are more open, are more sensitive, and they need all the help that they can get. So we're willing to come into the community. We know that some parents may have an issue getting to the venue. We're saying, if you do call us, we'll see whatever we can do to help you get there and help you get the knowledge that you need.
It's important to be able to pivot as we talk about how things have changed. And you mentioned that these days we've been seeing a lot more of runaways, a lot more suicides and so on. How is Barbados fluid or being fluid so that you can incorporate all that's happening in society into what you're sharing with parents?
Well, as you said, we have to be current. We have to recognize what is happening. And we have to get the word out there to parents that they need to start with themselves, as I said, to examine yourself and see what is happening. If your child has run away, obviously there has to be a reason. It may not be the reason that you think it is, but you need to look to see what has happened. And the things may not be as obvious as you think it is, because children are complicated too. May have one face at home, one face at school, one face with their friends, and taking the time to get to know your child means that you have to be vulnerable. Means you have to be open to listen and to hear. We have counselors, obviously, that go out in the community. We have counselors that are available. You can come to Paradise at any time. You can give us a call and make an appointment to see a counselor. We are also on social media, and we've had a platform now where parents can call in or write in their questions, and the counselors will answer those questions, trying to be as relevant as we possibly can. Also, our community program as well, Pulse of Parenting, where we, that is out there for everyone to be able to get information. So we're doing our best to be able to let parents know that no matter what it is that you're going through, somebody is there to help you. Give us a call. If you don't get to in the first instance, call us back. Message, whatever you need to do, we're here, to help you.
Now you're heading out. Usually you say it's 11 weeks.
Yes, normally
that you do
yes,
the classes.
it is.
You're going to try to condense this.
Yes.
Into 4 sessions.
Yes.
So what are some of the key areas that you're going to try to cover while you're out in the community?
We're covering the same 11 topics that we have. As
just
I said,
going a little quicker.
I said, yes. Yes, just going a little quicker, because we recognize, but we have, every Saturday to be able to come and give to this. So we're trying to meet you where you're at. Co-parenting, I would say, is the number one issue that resonates with a lot of us, whether you're married or not married. Working together as two parents for the betterment of your child. Conflict resolution. Everybody thinks they're right, and nobody's willing to compromise. So we look at that, we break that down into how you need to be able to look at yourself, understanding that you're not always right, understanding that the other person, you need to respect that other person's opinion. You may not always agree with it, but respect is very important. All one family, blended families. You are divorced, you got remarried, and your partner is also in that situation. You're bringing two families together. How do you make that work for the betterment of yourself and the children? How to recognize if your child is being bullied, how to recognize if your child is actually sick and needs to go to the hospital like yesterday, you know what I mean? So those are some of the issues that we cover. It is not, and also we look at financial management as well. Also nutrition, preparing meals for your children, your family. We cover a whole gamut of topics that every parent needs to get more information on and to apply to their lives.
Based on what you've seen, I'm not sure if you have engaged in recent surveys, but being able to relate on a daily one-on-one basis, I'm sure that you and your counselors have picked up some areas, and you as director of Paradise will know some of the things that you would be hopeful to be able to do to help more parents. So what are some of those areas that you would like to be able to cover as well? Because what we know is, as parents kind of go through the years, you have parents who are different ages, they need different things.
Yes.
They're at different stages of their lives, as is the case with children. So as children move through different stages of their lives, they demand different things.
Yes.
So what are some of the areas that you now need so that you can stay in step with catering to the many audiences whom you serve?
Well, we recognize that obviously, given the advice, given counseling, that is very, very important. We're also trying to cater to the whole person. For example, food, clothing. We're in that same Saturday, we're actually having a giveaway of clothing for parents out there, people out there who need assistance in that area. We're also trying to have a situation where if you can't come to us, or you can at least get to us. We will try to give you bus fare to help you. So it's not just, counseling and the parenting aspect of it, but look at it holistically, because we know that if you, it's like children who goes to school. If the child leaves home and doesn't have breakfast, he can't concentrate on school, So if you're a parent and you're struggling with regards to getting, clothing for your child, breakfast, whatever, it has to be a holistic way in which you need to be looked at. And that's what we're trying to do, looking at how we can assist parents, not just from telling you what to do as a parent, but helping you in terms of meeting your needs from a clothing to financial. Not that we have all the money to do that, but wherever we can. If we can't, then we will point you to somebody else who can help you. So, but we're looking at you from a holistic perspective.
Because things like that can really add to frustration.
Of course.
If
the child doesn't have uniforms,
yeah.
Shoes, whatever. So we've done it last year. We had a very good response from the public, and we're having it again this Saturday, where you can come and find something for yourself, find something for your children, somebody in your family, and it's free. It is free, because we recognize that not everybody will be able to go shopping every week and buy, things that the children need. So we need to be able to help them wherever we can.
What about those of us who would love to give? Whether it's individuals,
yes,
families, organizations.
Yes.
How can we?
Just give us a call. Just give us a call and let us know that you have something, or if you want to write a check and send it to us, we're willing to.
People still write checks, Cicely? I'm kidding. I'm
sure there's somebody out there that still does, but we will not refuse, because, as I said, we're trying to be able to help people in where they're at, and we've been fortunate enough to have a couple of organizations who have assisted us, from Sandy Lane to Maria Holder. From time to time, they assist us, and we're very appreciative of their understanding and being willing to join with us and partner with us to help out. This program that we're on is part of government's program as well, reaching out to the community, going where people are at, bringing to them what they need, and meeting them where they're at, so they can recognize they need help and accept that help. And that's what we're asking persons to register for these classes, because you can always be a better parent, you can always be a better person. And we are here. Counselors are going to be at each session, so that if you need assistance afterwards, you can, after the class, you can just say, look, I need somebody to talk to, and they will be there to help you. So that's what we're trying to do.
If you don't mind, Cicely, let's talk funding for a little bit. I heard you mention the Maria Holder Trust, the same usual, pardon me for calling them suspects, yes. Sandy Lane Charitable Trust.
Yes.
And there's some part of it that you mentioned is funded by government. How are you able to sustain these programs? Because what people need to know is it takes a lot of money to be able to do what you do.
Yes.
Last year, in speaking with you, you talked about wanting to do a lot more with the classes, maybe go other places, go longer, extend the program to a few more people, but you were limited by the funding. So let's talk about how you are able to stay afloat as Barbados.
Yes.
And who are some of the major donors who come on board and make it happen?
Well, as I would have just mentioned, for sure, Maria Holder and Sandy Lane. And there's some other organizations that we reach out to, that they're always ready and able to assist us. As you would know, Barbados also have a daycare, but that pretty much covers the staff and running the school. So we are very dependent on government. We're very dependent on those organizations to assist us to get our work out there. We would not be able to do it without them. And what I would like is for us to be able to get a set schedule, so we know that every 3 months or 4 months, whatever, we'll be able to do a class. But obviously that is dependent on the funding. So we're always open and willing and trying our best to be able to secure the funding so we can have the classes, because that is what Barbados was established to do, to help parents. And we can't pay our facilitators. We give them a very, very small stipend, because there's transportation, there's time that they're taking. So any assistance that any organization out there who wants to give, we are willing to accept it, because we want to do what we were created to do.
Excellent. Where will these classes be held? You said they're across 4 zones.
Yes, the first 2 we're working at we'll be at the Corrigan Parish School and the Glebe. So one Saturday, the classes will start, as I said, May 4th at the Corrigan Parish School, and the following Saturday, they will be at the Glebe. So you will 2 Saturdays at, 4 Saturdays altogether. So you can plan your schedule so that you'll be able to go to a class that is near you. We want those persons who are within that community. Obviously, if depending on your schedule and your situation, you can come out of your zone, as you're not restricted. But we're looking for persons within the community. The parents whose children go to Corrigan Parish School, those who live nearby. We want them to come out to the classes there. Mm-hmm.
Will the classes follow sequentially? Will they be different each time? Are you encouraging the same people to attend all of them? Or if you're not able to attend all 4, will you still be able to maybe catch up and catch on to what's being shared?
Well, this in at the Corrigan Parish School, you will have as I said, 4 weeks, 2 in May and 2 in June. At the Glebe, it will be the same thing. If you...
So the classes are being repeated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely, yes. So you can, move around at your convenience in a sense. But obviously, if we start in a group, you just stay there, because you will... In our first session, we're going to have a icebreaker where you get around and, talk to people and understand who they are and who you're dealing with, so that you will be in a group together. But it is open, because we recognize that we can't be very stagnant and very stiff in regards to what we do, because people have different schedules, et cetera, so.
Is there a registration process to be able to participate?
Yes, there's a registration. We've been sending out on social media, and you can call the office, 427-0212, call Paradise, go on the website, and you can register there. Mm-hmm.
How many people are you looking for? I think this is going to drive people to maybe register.
I certainly hope
because
so.
I know a lot of people were left behind last time around.
I certainly hope so, definitely. I mean, the Corrigan Parish School is a very big hall, you know what I mean? And we have a microphone, so we're looking for as many people as we can. We will not turn anyone back. What we're actually doing is, once you've registered, we will send you a menu, so you can order, you can dictate what it is that you want to have your lunch, so that when we have the break, you just pick up your lunch, eat it, and then we go back into the classes. So, yes, it is there.
And time frame, how long will the classes run on these 4 Saturdays?
Roughly about 2 hours. 2 hours, because once the facilitators finish, but some of them take questions in between, and some will take after. But we give you enough time to be able to share and ask your questions, so that you could get not just the lecture type situation, but you can also know, this is my situation, how can you help me? What do I do with regards to my child in this situation?
I know in an ideal situation, we'd like to say, I'd like to see all parents come out, and all parents representing, so that they get a little help and knowledge in whatever areas they need. But ideally, who are some of the parents that you would love to see coming out as a part of the program?
The parents who are I want to say struggling silently, but know that something is not quite right, and I need to ask a question. I need to get some help, and don't feel that you're a bad parent or ashamed that you need help. All of us, if we're honest, need help at some point, especially when it comes to parenting, So, as I said, it's open to everyone, grandparents as well, aunties, anybody who's working with children can register for the classes. And don't feel that something is wrong with you because you're reaching out, because you're coming to a class. You're coming to get help to become a better parent.
All right. And finally, would you advise them to bring the children along or try to come on their own?
We're open. We did not put it out there with regards to the children, but if you have to bring your child, do not let that be a hindrance. Bring the child. Let us know that you're bringing the child, and we will provide daycare.
All right. We want to thank you so much
for
coming in and sharing with us. So it starts on Saturday. You don't have much time to register.
Please.
Make sure you get on that site and register for the program. They're going to be at CP School,
yes,
and then they're going to be at the Glebe. So for the people in the north, and then for those of us closer in this area,
Yes.
opportunities to be able to come out. But do register early, because I seem to remember last year there were limited spaces, even though she said the CP Hall is big. We want to make sure that we get that assistance that we need. And even if we don't think that we need in our own households, we might be able to help
somebody
in other
else.
areas and help other people. Thank you so much, Cicely Clark.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for
Director
having me.
of Paradox. I'm still growing accustomed to saying that. Accustomed to saying Program Manager TV, CBC.
Oh my goodness.
I know that's a long time out, but thank you.
It's okay. Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
It's time for another break here on Morning Barbados. It's just about 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 4...
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's time now for an update of the news. The Barbados Police Service is investigating another fatal hit-and-run accident, the second since Saturday. The accident took place at Lodge Hill Christchurch around 9:15 p.m. This is also the third road fatality since then. The deceased has been identified as 75-year-old Ainsley Roosevelt Bradshaw of King's Court, also in Lodge Road, Christchurch. Police say while Bradshaw was walking along the road, he was struck by a vehicle which fled the scene. He was pronounced dead by a medical doctor who visited the area. Police are appealing to the public for information on the driver and vehicle involved. Police have turned to the public, asking anyone who may have witnessed or have any knowledge of the circumstances surrounding this incident to contact the police emergency at 211. Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS, that's 1-800-TIPS, 1-800-8477, or any other police station, and investigations are ongoing. As we move on, government is not in the business of using arable land for agriculture. So says Minister of Food and Nutritional Security Indar Ware in a response to critics that the Mia Motley-led administration has been granting developers permission to create housing developments on lands allocated for agricultural purposes. Rianne Phillips reports.
Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security Indar Ware is assuring Barbadians that careful consideration is given before permission is granted for agricultural lands to be used for housing development. He is making this clear amidst concerns that government is allowing houses to be built on land that should be used for food production.
Any piece of agricultural land that that comes before us rather, for subdivision, my team and I will literally go and visit that land first to determine if it is good arable land and if it should remain in agriculture. If it should remain in agriculture, we write back in very clear language that we do not support the request, and the Town and Country Planning Office will not give approval. Equally, if there's land that is marginal, that we feel that it can do better helping a poor man own a house, rather than keep it growing bush and cowage, we will grant that permission. And I make no apologies at all.
There have been recent protests against the proposed housing project at Newton Plantation, Christchurch. It is proposed that the development would involve 12.2 acres of land being subdivided into 58 residential lots. However, Minister Ware is saying that he has never placed his eyes on plans for the project at Newton.
The project at Newton, as far as I know, has not been approved. And I'll say to Barbadians that you really need to be wary of people who are fast and loose, prepared to say almost anything to get their attention, prepared to be reckless in their utterances. And in as much as I wouldn't treat to this as a legal matter at this point in time, given the fact that he's a trained attorney and experienced attorney ought to know better, I will simply say to Barbadians, test it. Ask him to produce the proof.
Minister Ware also says that Barbados' agricultural sector has to move in the direction of utilizing agri-food systems to allow for greater use in shorter periods. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Now, developing networks for capital inflows into the University of the West Indies remains top priority for its management. Vice Chancellor Professor Hilary Beckles acknowledged the efforts made thus far by its campuses, more recently the five-island campus in Antigua and Barbuda. The Saudi Fund for Development has agreed to finance its expansion through an $80 million loan. According to Sir Hilary, this is the largest single capital investment in decades.
It is very important for us to recognize this. In much the same way that we recognize that when the government of Trinidad and Tobago made that $100 million investment in our Pinal de Bay development, these are single investments that create new frontiers for the university and secure their footing as new policies are emerging. And so the Five Islands campus is now positioned to roll out the master plan to build out the campus, new dormitories, libraries, laboratories, sporting facilities.
Stuart Maloney has signaled he is one of the drivers to beat for the upcoming BCIC Rally Barbados, having driven away with last weekend's warm-up event, the Barbados Rally Club's shakedown stages. It was tough going for many drivers, as after a list of 61 starters, only 37 were official finishers. We'll take a look now at the top drivers.
Shakedown stages was the first test for drivers to see how their machines are working and how the competition among the groups is shaping up ahead of the big BCIC Rally Barbados. And it was the first stage of Lamberts to Luke Hill where we took in the action, and one driver who has some work to put in before the big one is the man in which much local hope of victory is placed, Dane Skeet, seen here on the opening stage, but had to retire after the second one due to some mechanical issues. Nevertheless, your top 8 has some usual suspects. Roger the Ninja Hill and Graham Gittins in their Skoda Fabia was 8th. Roger Mears, who dominated the two-wheel drive battle from the off in his Toyota WRC Starlet, 7th overall, winning Super Modified 2. Mark and Justin Maloney finished 6th behind the wheel of their Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo. Driving into the top 5 after being 3rd at the end of the pre-lunch session, England's Rob Swan dropped times and finished in 5th with co-driver Dylan Thomas by his side. A pair who all have to watch for Rally Barbados, Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton and Mike Fenner clawed back from finish this opening stage in 8th to lie 4th by lunch. And when the dust has settled, that's where they finish. But watch out, they're not to be underestimated. Fellow Jamaican Kyle Gregg and co-driver Ori Hunt had started the day uncharacteristically slow, being 7th at lunch and 9 seconds off the leader, but they put foot to the pedal to be 3rd at the end of the day. Early leader Josh Reed in his Ford Fiesta R5 had to stave off the challenge of Stuart Maloney, and it was a battle he lost by 0.921 seconds to finish in 2nd. But Stuart Maloney signaled he's determined to take that Rally Barbados crown, starting with victory in the shakedown stages, fighting back from lunch to just being ahead by 1 second after 4 stages to take the overall win at 18 minutes, 19.93 seconds. So get ready, rally fans. The big one is just around the corner.
Well, that's it for news at this time. Remember, we have Newsday coming your way at 12 noon. You can also tune into our radio network of stations for the world at 1. That's 98.1 The One, 94.7 FM, and 100.7 QFM. Do stay with us. More Morning Barbados coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:14. Good to have you in company. Good Tuesday morning to you. I know just like me, you're struggling with the day, right? And it's April 30th. That means people get to filing. Tonight is the night. You have to make sure you get in there. I know there were lots of clinics happening by the BRA over the weekend. I certainly hope you had an opportunity to head on out. I went down to the BRA office at Whole Town on Saturday, and boy, there was a line. And this was at 3 o'clock that I saw the line. So lots of people have been getting out, but make sure that you try to reach that filing deadline at midnight tonight. All right, April 30th, that's the deadline. So we promised that we were going to have Katrina Aline come in and sitting with us to talk about something that's very, very important. I'm not sure that we talk about it as often as we should, but she has her own foundation. It's called the Katrina Endometriosis and Women's Health Association, and it's wonderful to have her this morning to talk about women's reproductive health challenges, such as period poverty and menstrual leave. Now, I know period poverty is a term that I've only heard of myself within the last few years because of a relationship that I have with a friend from Jamaica. So good morning to you, Katrina. It's good to have you with us.
Good morning, Barbados.
All right. Talk to us a little bit about your organization, Katrina Endometriosis and Women's Health Association.
Okay, so the Katrina Endometriosis and Women's Health Association was named the Katrina Endometriosis Fund Association before, but last year we rebranded as we started looking at all the other gynecological conditions besides endometriosis. We started the association in 2016, and we are still having a lot of stuff going on in regards to women reproductive health, and we are trying to make women reproductive health a more open conversation, because we don't talk about menstrual health as much as we would like to talk about other conditions, because obviously there's still taboo and the stigma attached to even talking about menstruation.
Why did you decide to start the organization?
Well, from a personal experience, I was diagnosed with endometriosis in 2012 after having very bad debilitating periods from the time I was 13. I went to doctors. They just keep saying that there was nothing there, obviously because you can't see endometriosis on the ultrasound. I had to get an emergency laparoscopic surgery after being admitted to hospital numerous times before I actually got diagnosed with endometriosis. And I realized that a lot of women in Barbados had endometriosis because honestly, I thought I was the only person with the condition since we never really talked about it and never really heard about the term endometriosis. And then I realized that there was an association in Barbados for endometriosis. So I started then advocating and lobbying for women with endometriosis because it's a very debilitating condition.
Let's talk about your personal experience. From 13 years old, that must have been tough.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, in those ages, you know, parents might think, you know, you're playing it up a little because maybe you don't want to go to school or what have you. So what were your experiences like at that time?
For me, growing up, I grew up with my granny, and it was okay to have bad menstrual periods. If you're not having debilitating period, you're not having a period. So I grew up with the mindset that that was the norm, even though in my body physically I felt that something was wrong. I would walk home from school and just vomiting on the road, and you know, persons would say, oh, you know, you got bread in the oven because of the symptoms associated with my menstrual cycle. So I had like pregnancy symptoms, even though I know I wasn't pregnant, you know, just the debilitating vomiting, the menstrual cramps, you can't perform at school, you have to be in the sick bay all day and stuff. So, you know, it was very hard because it's not something that you can see as an invisible illness. So a person did not understand because I don't have it's not like I have a cast on my hand. And people say, yeah, the hand broken, so they know that is associated with pain, you know. So it was a really hard struggle from 13. I got 20 years after is when I got the diagnosis. So that was a very long time.
Absolutely. For those people who might be looking on, particularly younger people, talk to me about how difficult it was to step up and say, you know, there's definitely something going on with me. 20 years suffering through that in silence is a long time. I would imagine that you were seeking answers throughout that period. So how difficult was it to be able to step forward and seek the answers that you needed?
At first, it was hard because obviously there's a stigma attached. When you have a gynecological issue, the first thing people tend to say in Barbados is that, oh, your belly bad, you know, and you know, there was that stigma attached where every time you have a cycle, or it's like, oh, it can't be that bad. But the debilitating effect of it is like you are going through a physical experience, but it's also tapping into your mentality and your emotional status, and you know, you're just crying, you know, there's no support because at the end of the day, this is what's supposed to happen, because obviously no one knew that endometriosis was a condition that was so dormant but yet so prevalent amongst the girls and women in Barbados.
And I know it can also affect fertility.
Yes. A lot of women don't know they have endometriosis sometimes until they try to reproduce, and you know, the years of trying then to get the diagnosis and then the, you know, all the different tests and stuff like that to realize that you have endometriosis, and by the tissue grows all over the body. Sometimes it grows and blocks the tubes, so there's no fertilization happening. And sometimes this is the reality not just for endometriosis, but women with adenomyosis and PCOS as well.
Talk to me now about what you're advocating for, because now giving an idea of what you're talking about, of how debilitating it can be, you're advocating for menstrual leave. Let's talk more about that.
So menstrual leave obviously would have a criteria, because like with every policy, there's always the risk of abuse of the leave. However, women are actually having 3 or 4 days monthly away from work. Back in the day, when it was at the Ministry of Health, I used to have a week at home because my period was so debilitating and the bleeding was so heavy that from the time I sit down, my clothes were a mess, even though that I was properly covered, you know. And sometimes you cannot function based on the pain that associated with your menstrual cycle, 1. And then 2, some of the medications that you take has that drowsy effect. So sometimes it might be, even though you are trying to cope and do your work, the drowsy effects tend to take over. So you cannot function enough. So sometimes it's very, very hard. So I'm advocating for menstrual leave. About 8 countries already have that legislation. However, when I say menstrual leave, it has to be done correctly, because nobody just can't get this money and say, oh, I have a period and I want menstrual leave. It has to be a criteria, has to be a history of women having gynecological conditions where the pre-existing absence has been seen over time at work, because a lot of women actually sometimes lose their jobs because of the inefficiency and the absenteeism that happens monthly.
I know. I met a lady once who told me that she can't work because when she's menstruating is so difficult. She can't really hold on a job, and a lot of people see it as an excuse. So
Yes.
you're absolutely right. How do you think we're going to be able to move this past where it is, outside of outstanding women like yourself, speaking up, talking on this taboo issue? It's difficult to believe in 2024, it still is, but there are so many parents who can't even discuss it with their own children.
I think that we have to have honest conversations and open conversations and more inclusive conversations, because when we talk about women's reproductive health, we normally gear towards women. But sometimes we have to step outside the box and look at men as well, because men make up the family support system, and we also have to get persons like the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Health involved in these conversations, having meetings and sitting down, you know, letting them look at the proposals and stuff like that, because obviously you would have done like surveys throughout and gathering like polls and stuff like that to see how it's affected, because CBC did a video a couple of weeks ago, and if you go back and watch the video, you would see the comments from numerous women talking about how bad their periods are and how much time they have to take at home. So even though that is going to be hard, you know, it's a step that we have to look at, because at the end of the day, I know it's not a policy that is going to be enacted right away, but we can actually look at facilitating these women due to the fact where when we had COVID, we were able to work from home, where the productivity won't drop, but you would also have the women in their comfort zone, where even though the pain is debilitating, that they're willing to function and still get that productivity for the employers as well.
On top of that, one of the things that you talk about a lot is period poverty, another taboo topic. How are you working to try to curb period poverty in Barbados, which has to do with women and girls being able to have full access to the products and services they need?
Well, we started the Endo Drive project in 2018, after 2 years after the association was launched. And in COVID, we realized that there was such a dire need for these care packages that we have called the Endo Drive project. And we started to facilitate not just the outside community, but also the gynecological ward at the hospital, which we adopted in 2019, obviously because a lot of women go in and out of the hospital at the gynecological ward due to the conditions. But this year, we were fortunate to have Massey Foundation being one of the recipients of the Forces for Good initiative. We were able to be one of the top 5 recipients of persons who were doing very good community work. So Massey Foundation then came on board with us this year. So they're actually sponsoring us $40,000, which helps go towards the Endo Drive project. So then we had the forums there where we actually bring it to the broader community, where those persons who would have never reached out started to reach out to get the help, because we are going to facilitate those persons all through the year.
All right, I want to thank you, Trina, for sharing with us. Thank you for your advocacy, for your honesty, for your work. I can see the passion in what you're talking about, and I'm sure you've touched a lot of people today who might have thought, just like you early on, that they're suffering in silence, and there aren't other people who are indeed being affected in the way that you have been. So thanks for sharing, and we look forward to having you back. We have to delve into the period poverty a whole lot more as we continue our discussions.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Tell us how we can reach you, though.
You can reach me at 844-4766. You can reach me at Kiwa Barbados KiwaBarbados2@gmail.com, and you can also contact us on the social media pages, the Instagram Kiwa Barbados, the Katrina Endometriosis Fund on Facebook, and we also have the Google form, where those persons who need the care packages can actually fill out the Google form and get those packages as well.
All right, so doing fantastic work all across Barbados. Katrina Aline of the Katrina Endometriosis and Women's Health Association. If you need assistance, go right ahead and reach out, even if it's just for questions or directions. they're ready and willing to assist. It's time for a break. When we come back, we are reaching across the miles. We are going to introduce you to a lady with strong Bajan connections. She's not here, but we'll show you how her heart is here. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's always great to reach out to Barbadians who are not here, who are living away from Barbados, but are still connecting with us here on the island, such is the case with Chanel Williams, who's a teacher who migrated to the USA a little while ago, but she's still sharing. She's an author, she's a special ed teacher, and a whole lot more. And we look forward to hearing about the lot more as she joins us now on Morning Barbados. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tisha, and good morning, Barbados. And Tisha, can I just say, I was watching a few minutes ago, and your shoes are giving me life. I really cannot walk in heels, so power to you, girl.
Good to have you with us. Thanks for coming through and joining us. And what strikes me, first of all, what really jumps out is special ed. I think that teachers are special people, but special ed teachers, those who are interested in special education, really have a special place in my heart. So talk to me about what kind of pushed you in that area.
So when I was on recently, I mentioned that I spent most of my time at the Frederick Smith Secondary School. And we know how the system in Barbados is set up with the common entrance. Certain schools get a certain population of students. So therefore, being at that school and being that environment, I saw the struggles of students. And at that time, remember being in the classroom by yourself, having to deal with these difficulties, seeing the students struggle and not having the materials or the support, or sometimes having to invest your own monies to make sure that these students receive the support that they need.
Do you think there's...
So I would say that...
Sorry,
Sorry,
continue.
go ahead.
Continue.
No, I was saying that, so that is really what started my journey into special education. and it is really where my passion was born. Because I really was at a stage of frustration, and I really wanted to be able to do more.
Do you think that there's sufficient criteria in place for us to determine children who might be in regular mainstream, pardon me if it's the wrong term, classrooms, and to determine whether they need help to be able to move into special needs classes? Recently, I'm asking because recently I spoke with a mom who told me one of the teachers said to her, maybe we need to move this child into a special ed class, a child at 8 years old. Your opinion?
So if I remember back when I was in Barbados, I think the Ministry of Education had, I think, only one psychologist. And I think that if you wanted to really get your child evaluated, sometimes you had to go the private route. I do know that some parents, sorry, chose to do that. But I would say that you bring up a very, very valid point that maybe needs to be discussed. Because, for instance, comparing or contrasting the systems now, in New York, or the system that I work in, there are set systems and set tests and criteria for students to be in a special education class. So, for instance, after the child is evaluated and the state will provide that evaluation, that child is given something called an IEP, so an individual education plan. If that child needs extra support in terms of speech therapy, there are speech therapists in the schools. If they need, like, if they're having behavioral issues, sometimes they could be assigned something called a paraprofessional to work with them. So the supports are in place. I am not, again, 4 years gone. I'm not sure what Barbados is doing now, but I know that when I left, these things were not in place.
What about the taboo that often goes along with special education? As a special ed teacher, I know sometimes parents don't necessarily want to think that their children might be having challenges, and that might be difficult to kind of navigate, even working along with the parents to be able to lend the level of support they need to their children. Talk to me about your work in that particular area.
So for me, I think it's a bit different because here we have quite the opposite, because there are parents that would make sure or seek out to have the evaluations done so that their child could have the IP and so that their child could have the support. In Barbados, I find that it's a little bit more difficult. Sometimes it has to do simply with knowledge. Sometimes is finances. And we all know that if a child is having difficulties, the first thing we like to say, oh, the child hard ears. If the child is not learning, the child don't see. And again, what you come to find out that there are many other things that could be happening with that child. And what I say is that over the years, you would be surprised that some of the children that I've met that have these conditions or have these difficulties like ADHD or autism or have a speech impairment. I have seen that with support, sometimes these students do even much better than the children that we would say are normal. So I think there's room for discussion around special education in Barbados.
Absolutely. And I've concentrated a whole great deal on that so far, but I know you're multidimensional and there's lots happening with you. So you recently got together with quite a few people and co-authored a book about more or less finding what else there is to you to help you do a whole lot better. Talk to me now about that book.
Okay, so the book is called Beyond the Classroom to teach and not teach, and it's available for pre-order right now. The link is presale.chanelwilliams.com, presale.chanelwilliams.com. And you can, if you need the link, you can go on my social media or whatever. But the book is really about leveraging your skills outside of the classroom. So as a teacher or even as an individual, over the years, you learn a lot of skills. So how can you leverage those skills that you have to build financial wealth and success? So through this whole journey, I've been really thinking about what are the things I do outside of teaching, and I've come up with, I think, a plan for myself outside of teaching as to how I will be leveraging my skills.
That includes an educational consultancy, but you're also moving
Yeah.
into the realm of aesthetics. So, talk to me about how you're able to manage all of this. We often talk about having just 24 hours in a day, many of which we possibly are asleep. So, how are you able to leverage what you know and create these multiple areas where you are benefiting in numerous ways?
So in terms of my educational consultancy company, which I launched recently, which is called SSW Learning Solutions, what I'm really looking to do is to really share the knowledge I have, but also to assist teachers and parents in the special educational field, restorative justice, and work-based learning. So one of the things that I did even before officially launching, and that's why I say I'm not necessarily doing anything new. I've just decided to leverage my skills in a more meaningful way. So even in Barbados and during the pandemic, I would have started doing like these workshops. And I remember, for instance, when um, during the pandemic, when the children were going to school, remember in Barbados, the parents had to buy the tablets. And because they were different tablets, myself and some teachers got together and taught the parents how to use the tablets and so on. So fast forwarding to today, or fast forwarding to now, and launching my company, one of the first things I've done is, because as I said, my aim is to help. So right now in the US, in order to be a certified teacher, you have to do these certification tests. And sometimes what happens is that some teachers cannot pass, like, of the 5 tests, you might not be able to pass one. Some of the most difficult ones, sometimes it's like the math, or like if you're a second language learner, the English. So I recently launched a workshop, or a series of workshop, where we do sessions based test anxiety and test preparation, and we also do tutoring. So these are the types of things that I am doing. I'm really, in terms of the conversation around reimagining and reforming education in Barbados, I'm interested to get involved in that discussion as well because I feel as though I bring a unique insight that I'm willing to share and I'm willing to assist in any way possible.
That's excellent. You definitely are doing a great deal, and I know that your skills are in a number of areas, from planning to work-based learning, coordination, and all of the other things that go along with what you do. Outside of that, we take for granted sometimes in Barbados, with a predominantly Afro community, that you can wake up on any given day and get some hair care. In other parts of the world, not so easy. So I understand that's another area that you are capitalizing on or moving into.
Yes. So I was trained as a cosmetologist many years ago. However, it has always been something that I put in the back because I've been doing other things. And I really focus like doing it in school and after school programs and so on. So just last week, because as I said, I'm a teacher at heart. So if I know something, I'm going to teach it. So most recently, I did a parent workshop and I was able to teach some person to braid in 2 days. So that is something I'm really proud about. So these are the types of things that I am looking to do to educate, to empower, and to uplift.
Well, you certainly are doing a whole lot, and we look forward to hearing more from you on that reimagining of education, as we've been hearing a lot here in Barbados. And we look forward to hearing a lot more about the book that you co-wrote as well. We shared last time you were on, we shared a lot more about that. And of course, that book is a host of people doing as you are saying right now, talking about all the ways that you can grow and utilize your skills to be able to determine whether you should stick on one path or you can incorporate all that you do into what you do. So thank you so much, Chanel Williams, teacher, author. We can go on, but definitely doing big things. Wonderful to have you share with us today.
Okay, thank you very much and have a good day.
All right. Again, great to have Chanel with us. So be sure to check her out. And she's online as well. You can look for her published works. Of course, we shared more about that book with you right here on Morning Barbados last week. Before you go, quickly tell us where we can find the book, Chanel.
As I say, you can find the book presale.chanelwilliams.com. So presale.chanelwilliams.com. So PRESELL.SHANNEL Williams WILLIAMS.com.
Said like a true teacher. It's time for another break on Morning Barbados, but stay with us. Coming up, we're talking May Day celebrations.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7.
Good morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Can't believe it. Time just goes by so quickly. I have some familiar faces sitting in with me now who are going to tell us all about the BWU May Day celebrations coming up. Tomorrow, we hear about May Day all the time, but tomorrow is going to be extra, super special. Roshana Trim is here with us. She's Education and Trading Coordinator with the BWU.
Good morning, Tisha.
Good morning. Always good to see you,
nice
Roshana.
To see you as well.
How rare is she, on TV? Coming through the years, not in the traditional sense, but just really been lovely to see how you've grown through the years. And you've always been passionate about everything you do.
Yes.
And it really, really shows.
Thank you.
Also here is Miracle Ann King, who's Communications and Information Specialist with the BWU. And you've been with us before, so you're no stranger to Morning Barbados. Welcome back.
Thank you, Morning.
And of course, Danielle too, Danielle Fort.
Yes, please.
She is the coordinator of the dance programs for the NCF.
Yes.
And I know this because we've engaged throughout the years, particularly with the little ones.
Yes, yes.
You've been a part of the dance programs for a long time. So before you go, I'm going to have to show you my daughter's probably really embarrassed. I'm going to have to show you the updated photos and so on
for sure,
through the years, because she was
nice
dancing for maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. So good to see you, Auntie Danielle.
Yes, please.
So we're here to talk about tomorrow. I'll start with you, Miracle Ann. Talk to us about how things have been going. I know there must be many things that are going into place to be able to make it happen. You're doing it bigger and better this year under the theme, It's About You Two.
Yes, definitely, Tisha. We're in the final stages, putting in everything in the National Botanical Garden for tomorrow, May 1st. We're heading to National Botanical Gardens for our annual May Day celebration. As you said, the theme is It's About You Too. We're doing it bigger and better. So from 12 p.m. until 6 p.m., we will be down there. There'll be so many things. There's going to be a free kids zone sponsored by the Barbados Light and Power, a workers' village where some of our members have the opportunity to showcase their talents and services. There's also going to be the Frank Walcott Labour College reading corner, some cultural performances done by the NCF, and also there's going to be a mixology competition. So many things. It's better if you come on down there tomorrow and see what's going on. And there's also going to be the General Secretary's address, which is usually the highlight. And if you're down there, you'll get to see some of the sneak peeks of what she wants to say and some of the things she's going to bring to the labor sector.
All right, that's beautiful. I know your forte is education and training within the BWU, Roshana. So let's talk a little bit about the Frank Walcott Labor College Reading Corner activities for the college and so on that will be on show tomorrow.
Absolutely. So tomorrow we are from 12 to 2. We're going to be having a reading corner for children. So if they're under 12, bring them over. We'll be reading some Barbadian books. We'll also have some activities, some quizzes, giveaways, coloring bookmarks. If they are interested, or even if you just want to get them excited about reading, we're hoping that tomorrow really gets that jolted. And then we'll also be registering persons for some of our upcoming courses and workshops. We have some courses coming up, our workshops coming up that focus specifically on labor legislation for non-legal professionals, green in the workplace, discrimination, because we really want to ensure that workers and persons who are interested know how to navigate the workplace and know the laws and what is expected, what their responsibilities are, but also what their rights are, because those are exceptionally important. And so we'll be registering persons for that. We'll also be sharing more information on some of our partnerships like Sign My Language with the Deaf Heart Project. We have a second cohort starting on May 21st. And so tomorrow you'll get a chance to come on down and engage with the Education and Training Department at the Barbados Workers Union, the Frank Walcott Labor College, and to be able to continue education, because education should never stop.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, I know the National Cultural Foundation is playing a major role as well.
Mm-hmm.
You went into the communities for an initiative where you brought dance to the communities across Barbados.
Yes.
You got hundreds of people registering, and we're going to get to see tens of those people perform tomorrow. So let's talk about that.
Indeed. Yes, we went into the community to spread our culture, things indigenous to Barbados, such as stick licking, Afrobeat, street dance, landship maypole, tuck band through flute and drums, as well as African dance. We have ages 4 to 66 performing tomorrow, over 250 persons. We even have international persons such as one lady, Kikuku, from Japan, and then we have another lady from London. So we're excited that they're also a part of this community.
That's absolutely beautiful. Before we double back to all of the other stuff, let's hone in on this a little bit more. What form will the presentations take? I'm told you have over 100 people performing?
Over 250 persons performing tomorrow. Tomorrow.
250?
Over 250
Let me
persons
hear how
tomorrow.
this is going to happen.
How is it going to happen? You're going to see each genre performing their few minutes on stage. I'm really proud of these students. They've really come a long way in the few weeks that they were there. So just come, Tisha.
This definitely. You don't have to convince me. I have plans in place. Right, Merkeline?
Yes.
Plans are in place. You know this.
And you definitely have to get down there early. Yes. Because last year by 10:30, people were already setting up their picnic spots and so forth. So by 12, if you're not at that front row view to see that dance, it was honestly electrifying to see it. Especially last year, there was the Afro beats where there were young children. And I was like, okay, let's go. And it was really good. So this is why we partner with the NCF. Mayday is in association with the National Culture Foundation, and when we say it's about you, we mean also partners, and not only workers, but the partners that are able to bring this together, because they have a lot of experience within these type of settings. And as you see, the 250 people, that adds a great value to the event.
Absolutely. So remind us of all of the things we need to know for tomorrow. You have to show up at 7 o'clock in the morning, according to what Merkeline said.
Early bird catches the worm.
Yes.
So you definitely have to be there early. We're going to have a lot of activities. There's something for everyone: kids, workers, entrepreneurs, persons who just want to come and hang out and have a good day. We'll also have artists, Tumal Hill, Mikey, Red Plastic Bag, The reading corner is going to be there, so come on down. Giveaways, mixology contest, general secretary's remarks. I mean, what is there that you could want that won't be there? We don't know, because I think the team has done such a phenomenal job this year, the committee, the NCF, the sponsors, in ensuring that there's such a great experience to be had for workers on May Day. And May Day is such a huge day, and we should definitely make sure that we're all there for the Barbados Workers Union Fun Day and Family Picnic.
Set to the beautiful backdrop at the National Botanical Gardens, of course, so make sure you come out and play a role. 12 to 6, and playing a role as a worker means supporting as well. So thank you, ladies, for coming in and sharing.
Thank you for
I'll
having
see
me.
you tomorrow, definitely. Reading corner, all about dance. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Hey, coming up, we still have to tell you about QFM's 20th anniversary celebrations. We are bringing Q home this week. I'll tell you, along with Nicole, how you can be a part of it. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Exercise Trade Winds 2024, May 4th to 16th. Volunteer with Exercise Trade Winds today and make a difference. Volunteers assist with a critical measure of realism during the exercises simulations, whether by land, sea, or air, and help with the overall success of the exercise. Register today online via bdfbarbados.com. Exercise Trade Winds 2024, May 4th to 16th.
This summer, Exercise Trade Winds will be in Barbados from May 3rd to the 17th. The exercise is designed to improve cooperation, interoperability, and operational responses between participating nations to common threats to national, regional, and hemispheric security. Over 1,000 foreign military and law enforcement personnel from the Caribbean, Latin America, the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States will participate in the exercise. Exercise Trade Winds is a United States Southern Command sponsored exercise, tailored by the region, for the region, promoting a secure Caribbean 2024 and beyond. Exercise Trade Winds 2024.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And in the last few minutes, I have to say hello and welcome to another colleague joining me on the couch. Nicole Collins is marketing specialist here at CBC, and we're talking about Q.
Yes.
QFM, Q in the community. We have a big celebration coming up this week.
Yes, definitely. Good morning, Tisha. Good morning, Barbados. Q100.7 FM celebrating 20 years on May 4th, this Friday. 2 decades of being the heart of the community. And of course, it wouldn't be a celebration for QFM if we didn't bring Q in the community or special celebration to the CBC. So that's what's happening this Thursday here in the CBC car park. Q in the community, the QFM anniversary edition.
20 years is a long time.
Definitely.
I remember when Q lodged back in the day, there were some people who couldn't necessarily find it on the dial, and many of us went out to be able to help them, but it really has been wonderful to see how Q has blossomed in the community in so many ways. So talk to us about what will happen on Thursday when we're here at home.
Well, it's Q Day, of course, here at CBC, the Q Experience.
Another bank holiday, people.
So after tomorrow's Wednesday, and then we're here for Thursday, 11 a.m. We start at 11 a.m. sharp, and of course, you know the Q Loyals, the Q Faithfuls. Some of them will be here from 9 a.m. Definitely starting at 11. Q food, Q music, karaoke, and of course, lots of prizes and surprises. We've asked them to wear green. Green is the color of the day. Our Q audience is a very responsive audience, so they definitely take up any task. If you tell them we're white, they'll come out decked in their white. So we're looking to have a sea of green right here in the CBC car park on Thursday in celebration of QFM.
And there's no birthday without cake.
Of course. The cake will be on Friday.
I look forward to seeing all that will come up for Q on Thursday. So we get started around 11 o'clock as we celebrate this 20th anniversary.
Yes.
And you also get to engage with the CBC family, which makes all the difference.
For sure.
So I'm going to make sure that I'm outside to share with some of the Q family as well
For
as they come on through.
For sure, for sure. Just bring a friend, tell them it's Q Day. If you've never been to Q, we had persons last week at last week's Q who had never been to Q. So this is the perfect opportunity to take in the Q experience. It's right here in the CBC Car Park Central location. Wherever you are, let all roads lead to the CBC Car Park.
I know sometimes we have to put special arrangements in place for parking.
Yes.
And so on.
Yes, so parking special arrangements have been made. You know, we have along the back of the CBC, and we've reached out to our corporate neighbors. So all of that will be promoted tomorrow.
All right, good stuff. And of course, you can stay tuned to the stations of CBC to be able to find out a lot more. We'll be sharing on Q itself and some of the other stations as we celebrate this anniversary.
QFM from 2 p.m. live broadcast, and of course on our Facebook page where we have persons from all over the world taking in the Q experience.
Yeah, what has been your experience though, Nicole?
Q.
I think people forget, you know, how massive this is, what a difference it has made. It really has been a shift in terms of how we look at retirement and older people, how they engage with each other and themselves.
Don't get it twisted. Q in the community has two audiences. We have those in the golden years who've retired, they come in the daytime. But in the evening time into nighttime, you have a younger demographic, those who have been at work and come out to enjoy a good line in a secure environment. We have been incident free. So therefore, it's not just about the older ones. They come out in the daytime, they play dominoes, they relax. There's some of them who come to Q and they've never touched the dance floor. But it's just the family atmosphere for a lot of them. So it's been a good experience so far. We are back to pre-COVID numbers. Before, you know, persons were a little skeptical, but we've definitely passed that phase, and persons are coming out weekly and enjoying themselves and wanting more.
All right, good stuff. Nicole Collins is marketing specialist here with the CBC, and she's going to be out with the team in full force on Thursday for Q here in the car park as we celebrate QFM's 20th anniversary. So many wonderful memories. We're going to make it special for you, as we're going to make it special for the entire Q family here at CBC as well. So we look forward to you coming and sharing with us on Thursday. We don't have to tell you come out early because we know you're early already. So that's it from us. Now, something before we go. The Amazing Race in Barbados is part of the itinerary for the next Amazing Race season 36, and the island will get to play a big part as the network CBS has decided to stick to the season 35 format of 90-minute specials. So it was shot here in Barbados some 2 years.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the...
More about that with you on Thursday morning, because following the success of the last season, season 36 is also getting added time. So make sure you tune in to hear a little bit more about that. Of course, they visited Rihanna Drive. DJ Khaled had a lot to say about it. So that episode is airing. I know Morning Barbados producer Nadia Foster is really excited about that. Hey, coming up Thursday here on Morning Barbados, we'll also chat with Brian Talma, the Barbados Cheerleading Federation. They will be in, and we're going to tell you all about Buster Rhyme Battle. That's coming up Thursday. Have a good May Day tomorrow, and join us on Thursday. See you then. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.